Make This Make Sense brings together three professors and dynamic guests to unpack
the systems, trends, and social dynamics everyone is confused about,
with the women who actually understand them. With your hosts,
Entrepreneurship Professor Dr. Colleen Robb,
Entrepreneurship Instructor Annie Stout,
and Blockchain Instructor Kelly Werder.
What if the key to getting along with your family is getting along with yourself? Today, we are chatting with Dani Williams, founder of NXT Generation Wellness. Dani works with neurodivergent youth and their families to help them function better as a family unit. Her philosophy is simple. When parents understand themselves, they create an environment where their children can too. Whether you're raising children of your own, leading a team, or just wanting to have a better relationship with someone, this episode will challenge the way you think about communication, relationships, and emotional intelligence. So, let's make this make sense.
And we're back.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Colleen, I have a question for you. What is your shirt that you're wearing right now?
So it says Lee Health Volunteer, and then on the other side it says Pet Therapy. Simba and I, Simba's my golden doodle, who's also a therapy dog. We just got certified with Lee Health, which is a huge medical organization here in Fort Myers. So after we finish recording, we're actually going to Gulf Coast Medical Center, and we're going to walk around and see some patients.
This is new for Simba, right? He's only, how many times have we done this so far?
Well, we've been doing general visits at like nursing homes since December of last year.
Okay.
But this will be his second visit at the hospital. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
exciting.
It is new for him. Yeah.
That's exciting. We have yeah, he's really going to love it. We have an amazing entrepreneur that you have connected us with, Colleen, and she's literally running around in the background. So I wanted to make sure she was actually sitting before I bring her up. Watch her she's like working away. But let's bring Dani Williams up to the stage and welcome Dani to this
Hi,
Make This Make Sense.
I'm very excited to be here. I thought that I could get one last task in.
Sure.
I didn't know that you could see me, but I had to throw a paper airplane away. So I'm glad that you caught that. But thanks for having me. This is awesome. This is great.
It's great to have you. It's been so funny just to watch you going while we're prepping and checking audio and stuff. It's been, it's just entrepreneurship.
I love it.
There you go. There it is.
Very much so. That is, you don't even need to interview me or talk to me or ask me questions. Just follow me for a couple minutes and you'll get the whole picture.
Get the whole thing.
Maybe not. It might,
but pretty close. Yeah.
It might leave you with more questions than answers.
That could be it. That could be it.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of questions, Colleen, why don't you kick us off?
Okay. Well, so first of all, Dani, you have 20,000 certifications, everything from yoga to special education to human design. But your primary practice is NXT Generation Wellness. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do just to kind of set us off?
Yeah, for sure. So NXT Generation basically started as a fitness coaching company for neurodivergent individuals. I was at the time, close to 15 years ago, I was working as a special needs educator. I implemented their first PE program and noticed the deficits with gross motor skills within a group setting. So I started to go in-home and provide fitness coaching, gross motor, fundamental fitness, that kind of thing. And then over the years, as I grew into my role as an educator, special educator, I noticed that a lot of the things that I liked and felt a lot of fulfillment with, same thing with my participants and the families that I worked with. So over the years, we've kind of expanded and evolved. And I like to joke because anything that I'm into, you can best believe in 6 months, it's going to find itself some way, somehow under the NXT Generation umbrella. So at this point, we offer empowering education services. I left the traditional classroom back in 2022, and we're full-time with homeschool support, continued learning, vocational education. We have 2 locations where we do all of that, and then we have a fitness studio as well. where we do fitness coaching, social skills, and holistic health endeavors. So we kind of do a little bit of everything. It's just dependent on what the family wants and what they need and what they aim to provide for their child. The biggest thing, though, is providing that individualized and customized instruction for each family and each participant. So
Yeah, and
that is
so
where we are.
That's awesome. So you guys are located in Sarasota, Florida. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yep.
When we've been talking, your approach to me was very different because you don't just work with the children like you do morning summer camps, but you bring in the family to make the family unit function better. How do you do that? How do you go about that?
That's a great question. I think it kind of goes back to lived experience, because for so long and for so many years, it was very much, or in my brain, it was individualized. We're focused on the individual, which all of that still remains true. But I started discovering, along with my team of coaches, that bringing the family in and allowing them to participate and to fully experience what we offer their child gives a completely new perspective of the benefit of the individual's success and their growth, but also for the family. And seeing how the parents are able to grow alongside their child, it opens up pathways that we have yet to discover or didn't discover with just looking at the individual and working with the individual. So one of my coaches, Kenzie, actually came up with the idea to do a family day at the end of each camp that we offer. So we do summer camp, spring, like spring break, just really anytime that there's a gap in a traditional school calendar. We provide different enrichment activities and whatnot. And Kenzie had the idea to do a family fun day on Friday where the parents are able to partake in the activities. And that has been phenomenal to watch. And the relationships that are continued to be embraced and nurtured within their own internal family unit, but also with the other families, has been really awesome to be able to step back and watch unfold in real time. And I think moving into the next chapter of what we're doing, providing that individualized instruction for not only the participants, but allowing that opportunity for the parents so that they're able to work together to strengthen their communication and all of the things that are necessary for us to move forward in life. So that is
I always loved those kind of days where you get to see what your kids been doing for the week, or even when they were in school, like, and having them tell you, okay, this is what we were working on. This is what, oh, come see my plant that I grew, or whatever it was that week. They're so excited to show it off to you as well. And to be able to like really be in the environment that they've been spending time in. I think that was always so fun. So I love that you do that and have it be like a family moment, not just a, check this out kind of thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been quite awesome. And we also, I mean, I think also the mentality too is there needs to be a balance there. It's observed and witnessed that children are often different around their parents or their family members. So it's all about time and place. So we still very much offer our comprehensive programs that are child led or just participated in separately. But we now have the capacity and the bandwidth with our coaches to be offering programs that are running concurrent to their child sessions with us, but they're separate. So to give you an example, we have, I just started like a creative cafe pilot this summer where kids can come in and do art and just make things and just be super creative. And it very much be based off of their interests and allow their feelings to just guide them wherever they want to be that day and meet them where they are. And then Kenzie has the parents, she's offering a fitness class for the parents next door in our fitness location. So though they're separate programs, they're running around the same time so that it makes it easy for the families to make that commitment. And that's been also really cool too, to give the parents and the moms in particular during the summer that time for themselves to have their own agency and to rediscover who they are as individuals. Because oftentimes when you have a child who is neurodivergent or has different abilities, this loss of identity seems to take place. And that's certainly unintentional, but it happens, and that's the reality of it. So we're very fortunate to be able to help parents or start to help parents rediscover themselves and rediscover their hobbies and their interests and get them in a position where they're able to grow back into who they really are. And that's been really powerful. I get chills like thinking about that. That's been something top of mind that I've wanted to do for years now, because I saw that we just didn't have, like I said, the bandwidth, but now we do. And it's freaking awesome to be able to see happen right now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think, I can always remember my daughter taking dance, right? And she was in the dance studio and all the moms were peering into the window, right? Just like, what is my child going to do wrong? Or what are they going to do right? And so you're solving this great problem of like, who am I? Who am I becoming over here? And allowing that child to flourish without the eyes of it. I just think I've noticed this problem for a really long time, and it's really cool that you identified it and you solved it. That's interesting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're solving it. I can't say that we have everything figured out, but I think that's part of it is we're creating conditions that work for right now, and those conditions will constantly change and evolve. But I think ultimately the common denominator with everything that we've ever done is a balance between the proof of concept, but then also trusting the process and really embracing the unseen and just really focusing on what feels right in the moment. And oftentimes that allows us to solve problems that we find are affecting or impacting whoever we're working with.
So many like summer camps or, extracurricular activities don't involve the parents, and the parents just are like dropping off, picking up, right? And that's the extent of it. What have you seen in terms of the differences of family dynamics between the traditional model and what you're doing? Like, what is the impact on the family unit that you guys are focusing on that makes you different and really creates this difference in how families communicate with each other?
That's a good question. And I think because at one point in time for years, our programs very much were set up in that fashion where in my brain, I was thinking of independence, autonomy, having children walk to their fitness session on their own so that they have that ability to do so, because that's a huge thing with neurodivergent individuals, is giving them the tools and the resources to be able to show up in their own life and not feel like they have to be codependent on somebody else, not feel like they have to have a parent or an adult advocate for them. That's been a very important aspect of curating and creating these experiences, is instilling this sense of independence and this sense of autonomy. But I found that the communication started to suffer a little bit between coach and parent simply because we didn't have that time together. And furthermore, being able to have them witness and have them partake in these activities now when it's the correct or appropriate time and place, I see this sense of play that is reestablished in the adult. And that it's almost like it is a permission slip for their children to be vulnerable and for them to access that sense of play. I think over the years, I've observed a lot of neurodivergent individuals that we work with who are in a traditional school setting constantly be told what to do, constantly be reprimanded, and they take on this perception that they're not good enough, or what they're doing isn't correct or right. And I think being able to be in an environment or an atmosphere that allows play and allows mistakes alongside their parent, and it not being achievement based or outcome based, but really just the process and the journey. It's just all about being in the moment with one another. I think that has been so beautiful to watch. I had a parent the other day come in, and she was talking and reflecting about the last camp that we did. And we've been doing like these really fun minute to win it challenges in the gym where like they wrap their child up as like a mummy with toilet paper, or we have marshmallows that they suck through a straw to just like these little fun games. And the parent got fairly emotional, and she's very much been in our environment for, I think, close to like 5 or 6 years now. So she knows us very well. And she shared that after her son was born, she had to have a specialist teach her how to play with her child. And she brought this up in a way of connecting these moments, these shared experiences that we are offering at this point in time, is allowing them to tap back into that sense of connection with one another. And that was really powerful to hear, because all too often I'm not thinking of that. That's not on top of mind. But for that one shared experience to be so profound, to allow that sense of play back into their dynamic is so beautiful. And I'm very honored and humbled to be a small part of that. So I hope that answers your question. Kind of went off on a side quest of many things there.
Perfect.
I mean, yeah. So like I think about, so my brother, younger brother, and I are like so different. I'm very spontaneous. I'm very like out there. He's very internal, very thinking about things before he does things. Is that, in your experience, like, is that due to the parents? Like how do siblings end up so different in the same environment?
God, I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything, right? I mean, my first thought is you got to run his human design report. I'd love to see it so we can compare and contrast them. That's my first thing, but we won't go there. But I do think that it is, I think that there's an element to it where it is a balance. I think that there is like this almost internal like hard drive that we have, this blueprint that we start with. And then I feel we're all operating on one big spectrum, and wherever you fall, your environment can amplify these tendencies. It can kind of suppress them or whatever it might be. But I do think the sibling dynamic is super interesting because, okay, I am going to go human design real quick because it's very much spot on with my sister and I. And I think learning about one another has allowed us to become even stronger. She does not need the amount of activity and movement that I do. And she's often just chilling in her bedroom, in her bed. And that's how we always were growing up. She needed a lot of rest. I needed a lot of movement. Every time I asked her to do something with me, she would always say no. And she would be in her bedroom and she would be very much like in her own mind, in her own space. And I always took it as she did not want to be around me. And I took that personally and I took that to heart. And really, it was just that she needed time away from the external world. And now seeing it in that way, we use one another's strengths that in a way that's healthy. Like she'll FaceTime me to body double. Do you guys know what that is? Where you have somebody working.
No, we don't.
You're gonna love this. Okay, so I wake up very early. I wake up like between 3 and 4, but I go to bed at like 7 p.m. ish, 8 p.m. And I wake up and I work on the computer before I come into sessions. And she has been enjoying an early wake up call. She's living on a random farm in Tennessee. That also tells you something. Like we just love doing our own thing. But she calls me on FaceTime to body double. So she knows that I'm working. She knows that I'm journaling. She knows I have this routine or I have this routine. And she calls so that she can also work or be motivated to work. And she uses my life force, as we like to call it, so that she is motivated enough to do what she needs to do. And then she'll go chill for the rest of the day. So I think being able to be aware of one another's, yes, personality, but also your internal hard drive and how they operate provides the sense of understanding, a sense of compassion. And then also you have a different type of communication that comes after that because you're not constantly wondering what you're doing wrong or you're the problem or whatever it might be. Or if it's the parents, I think that they have a lot of say in how they cultivate the kids' childhood. I do think that has a huge impact. But in terms of the sibling dynamic, I think it's important to learn about one another as individuals so that you can create a dynamic that's truly yours.
I just wonder where you were when I was a kid. Like there were
me too.
And I'm like, I could have really used you. Like,
yeah.
I'm always wondering, like, is it me? Is it me? And it's like, I could have really used you.
You perfectly described your relationship with your sister as exactly the same as my brother, our energy levels. My brother's been described as a golden retriever puppy energy, and I am not. So it's really funny and he always took it as like that meant I didn't like him or it's similar to what you were saying. And it was really just like, no, I just need my alone time. Like and I'm also perfectly fine alone. Whereas he needs a lot of external, signals and cues and people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't like people. So it's really, I think that's a great point of like, you have to understand the other person, because it's not, doesn't mean that they don't like you or that it's something about you. It's oftentimes just something about them that like is needs to be taken care of. And I love the body double thing. That's really fun that she's using you as like motivator. I love that.
Yeah, it's cool, which I love, because I have a ton of energy to give to people. I just want to be giving it to the right people, because that's something that I've learned about myself, is that I have a lot of energy, but I've also placed it in people and environments and situations that did not deserve my energy or were not aligned with me, but for the fear of disappointing people or upsetting them or making them uncomfortable, I have sacrificed my own energy. And at the end of the day, or the time, whatever the season it was, I've been left frustrated, completely drained, and empty. So it is very important to, if you do have a lot of energy and you do have a lot to give, to make sure that it's going to people who are receiving it in a way that's receptive and healthy and for the right reasons. And that's been a personal lesson that I have learned over the last 5 years, I would say, being more intentional about where I put my energy. Yeah.
So I know you're very passionate about this, so I want to give you the space to talk about it. And you came and spoke to my class about it and actually did like a full workshop on human design and this framework that helps somebody understand themselves, helps somebody understand the other person. And so could you talk a little bit about how that's inspired what you're doing today and how you even approach relationships in your life?
Sure. Yeah. So human design, I like to use it as like an energetic blueprint, a starting point to further understand someone. I've been very obsessed, very, very interested always in human behavior, how people operate, because I felt like I was constantly misunderstood as a child and as a teenager and as even a young adult. So like I said, I always felt like I was the problem. I felt like I was the one who needed the work. I was constantly trying to fix things about myself or change things or make myself more digestible or shrink myself. And so I've been on a pretty long path of just internal work and healing now. I don't think that I'm changing myself at all. I think that it's quite the opposite. I'm just reclaiming who I've always been. And human design has been a huge part of that, because once I received my body chart and my gates and my energy type and all of these things that is enveloped underneath human design, I finally could take a deep breath and I felt so validated in this sense of confirmation of it's okay to be moving constantly. It's okay to multitask. It's okay to pivot when something no longer feels right within my body. And I feel so much more empowered and so much more myself. And I think once I've been able to really lean into all of the gifts and all of the strengths that are me, and like own the things that are not me, and be okay with that, everything kind of took off. And now being able to incorporate human design within instruction, I told you 6 months later it comes into the classroom or into whatever environment. We started running reports on all of our participants, and the way that we present information or give information or even designing lesson plans and curriculum, all of that starts with human design. And I take that and I kind of generate all of these different things based off of their energy type. There are 5 energy types and each one runs very different. And then there's a whole other, there's a ton of other stuff, but having a starting point is super awesome. The knowledge is power, and being able to have a place where you have more clarity, it's enhanced our individualized instruction, but it's also provided so much more depth because we understand that individual on a deeper level. And with the individuals, now we're doing it for the family members and the parents, and seeing how they can kind of use it to their benefit with language at home, how they're setting up their schedules, their routines, offering like something as simple but yet complex as choices. This design functions better if you ask yes/no questions. Like if you have a defined sacral, working with a yes, no, or someone else like a projector might benefit more from open-ended questions. So it's just, there's a lot there, but having a sense of clarity about who you're working with is so much more beneficial than just kind of going into something blind. I think we all need a sense of clarity and certainty in things. And though that's not realistic, at least having a little bit of confirmation and understanding will at least give you that sense of confidence to take the next steps, you know, when certainty does arise.
Yeah. And so,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, so human design is based off your birth date and your time of birth. And there are a lot of tools out there that are free where you can figure out whether, you know, you're a projector, whether you're a generator, all of those things. So we'll put that in the show notes for people that want to kind of test themselves and see what their types are. But Annie, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, we can have a syllabus for the class and it's in 4 months. This is what I want to cover. But until I meet those students, I really don't have a roadmap. I mean, I know the content that I need to cover, but until I feel that energy in the room, that will completely change my approach. And so sorry about my dog. I think this is groundbreaking.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. I'm putting my coaches through like a pilot course that I've been creating since October, and we just started doing some of these lessons. And I think just that general understanding of how we show up in the world, but at the same time, we understand how each other can show up in the world and how they do innately or naturally has been, yeah, I do think, I agree with you. I think that this is something that has the potential to be transformational, not in only how we see one another, but how we create authentic communities that actually feel right. And it's not out of, and I don't want loyalty to sound as a bad thing, but I do think that in society, or the society in which we've been conditioned to participate in, I think that there's a lot of organizational systems that we're just a part of because we have been told that that's what we should do. And I don't believe that. And I think that having a sense of understanding of oneself, having your own inner authority where you're able to make decisions that come from you and not from the environment or even your family members or communities that you've been formerly a part of, I think that is, I think it is groundbreaking. And I would have to agree with you, Annie. I think that we're onto something, and I'm very excited to see where it all unfolds, or where it unfolds to.
So I know when you came in and talked to my class and in our conversations, you talk about self-regulation. I think there's maybe some common...
That's Kenzie right there.
Oh,
sorry to interrupt you.
Body doubling.
Look at it. See, it does it. It zoomed in on her. We were talking about this. Oh, and there's another coach, Danny, and his son, Leo.
Love it. Love it.
Look at that. Okay, back to it. Sorry.
No, this is the life of an entrepreneur, right?
It is.
That's how it goes.
Yes.
We're catching her midday. I mean, there's things happening.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But yes, go ahead. So I was talking to your class.
Yes. And you're talking, and even in our conversations, we were talking about self-regulation. And I think that there's some misunderstandings about that being a good thing, a bad thing, what it actually means. Can you talk a little bit about how you think about self-regulation, either in your practice or in your personal life, and what you want our listeners to know about that term?
Oh, that's, yeah. Which angle to take this? Because I mean, I think having a place both in the educational world or the academic world, but also a place in fitness. And I often just see fitness, that sense of release, that sense of movement, as merely an outlet for appropriate regulation. I believe that regulation is a necessity in order to take in and retain information. So being able to teach our youth even ourselves, our coaches, our family members, to find appropriate regulation tools that work best for them, or at least introducing them and modeling them, is the greatest gift that we can give them. Because without them, I don't think progress happens. I mean, it might happen, but it does not happen, I think, to the expectation that people want it to happen. So I think that regulation is the number one priority in any environment in which you find yourself in, as an individual, as a coach, as a business owner, as a therapist, whatever it might be. I think that it is very, very important. And but also acknowledging that you're not going to be regulated all the time, and that's okay. I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about regulation. I think that people think regulated and think that they have to be zen and calm all the time. I don't think that's it either. I think it's the capacity in which you can hold all of these difficult emotions. And I think capacity is a word that's coming, I think, more into conversations. And I think that that's a really great thing, because you don't want to teach this false sense of you have to have it all together all the time. You have to be able to teach, or I'd like to teach regulation as, again, like a spectrum and cyclical, that you're not going to be totally cool all the time. You might feel anger, you might feel frustrated, and that's okay. Here's how we can sit with it and then move on so that you're not holding on to it. So I think self-regulation is instrumental. I think it's incredibly important for anything.
So I want to kind of go maybe like 50,000 feet up. So when a parent says, my child just isn't listening to me, where do you go with that?
What are you asking of them? How are you asking of them? Would they be better with declarative statements versus asking? I mean, a internal list comes to mind. But I think ultimately it goes back to understanding your child and how they receive information best. How can you get them? How can you create the conditions in which they will ultimately retain what you are saying, so that you can get the desired outcome in which you're seeking? A lot of our participants are constantly moving. Doesn't mean that they're not listening. Just because they're over there climbing on the staircase doesn't mean that they're not listening to what you have to say. I think that we often have to change our expectation of them, and also change what we think about what is truly listening. Sitting here with you, it doesn't mean that when I'm listening, it doesn't mean that I'm listening to you just because I'm sitting and providing eye contact. I think that sometimes we have to change the way that we have been conditioned to believe something works. So like
we've all been in corporate and faculty meetings where we've proved that point. Yeah, we're there.
Yeah,
we're not there.
Sorry. I hope you guys find your way out of that soon.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother conversation.
It's great on the other side, I'll tell you that. It's good. It's real great. But yeah. I don't know. I think that there are just a lot of things that we have to, as educators, we're the ones usually educating and providing the space to learn, but oftentimes concurrently we're unlearning all the things that we've been taught. At least that's how I feel. I mean, when you have an environment that is more of an alternate, or like an alternative way of doing things, or not conventional or traditional, I think that as the educator, at least for me personally, I find myself unthinking and undoing and unfeeling a lot of things that I was initially taught myself, or in the early days when I was a part of a traditional school. A lot of things I did back then, and I've been, close to 15 years now, that I don't do now. I don't see the importance in it. So therefore I do it differently, and that's totally okay. So I think a lot of it's like getting families and people around you that also feel that way, and you don't have to convince them of why you're doing things. I think that there's like this trust, and this trusting the process and unseen, but also seeing the evidence of how it is working. And when it's not, we pivot and we switch it up, which that happens a lot too. But it's just.
So I know that it takes a lot of work, a lot of self-reflection. It isn't like flipping on a switch. But if there's somebody that wants to improve a relationship with someone, is there like a first step that you recommend, or just something that could move the needle in a more positive direction?
I mean, my first, and I think of all the interactions that I've had, because I think this work as an entrepreneur, I think this is one thing that I've unlearned. I've been told that business and the work that we do has to be separate, and you have to compartmentalize the work versus the personal life. And I don't agree with that at all. I think that this work is all relational, and it's merely an extension of who I am or anybody in service. I think it's just a representation of who you are at your core when you're authentically living that out, when you're in true alignment. So there have been situations where we're just missing the mark with the relationship, whether that's a family member, whether that's a student, whether that's a coach. I think being able to be able to zoom out and understand that individual at their core is very important. But again, they have to be receptive and open to that. So that just goes back to finding the right people that are willing to sit in the discomfort with you, so that you can grow stronger and grow together. And again, we're fortunate enough to do that. People can exit at any time. They're not held here. They're not in a contract. And I think that sense of fluidity is awesome. And I think that the trust that's been built over the years has provided just a different way of operating. But when we do have moments of discord, being able to know where the other person is coming from. And I always go to the chart, man. I mean, I have like everybody's chart memorized in my head, because when I start to feel a certain way, I think about my shadow parts and how I might be projecting something that I experienced years and years ago. I'm showing up as little Dani and not adult 2026 Dani. And at the same time, I'm able to see maybe where they're coming from, their own unhealed parts too. And that's been really powerful. And it's never perfect, but it gives us something to work with. And I think being able to step foot in someone else's life or their experiences, though we're not actually experiencing them, I think that goes a long way. Perspective is everything. And I think when you have the awareness of how important relationships are and how different everybody receives information, how they take information, what I might say or how I might say something, it may not land in the ways that I want it to land. I think that's really important to understand. And I think it takes a lot of weight off of doing everything right all the time.
That's great. We're going really deep in this episode, guys.
Well, I know. I want everybody's chart. Like, I want all of your charts.
You should go off.
You should probably do that.
Yeah. I know what Colleen is, but I have my.
What is she? What is Colleen?
She's a manifester. She's a 3-5 manifester. So 3 is the experimenter, and then the 5 is the heretic. And I mean, Colleen, you went through and you read your overview. What did you think? Is it accurate to you? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. As I was reading it, and I mean, I kind of cheated. I took the results that I got from that free online tool you sent me, that'll be in the show notes, and put it actually into ChatGPT to kind of digest it. And so one of my main areas is my throat. And that makes a lot of sense because I'm an educator, right? Like I speak, and that's where my power comes from. And that's when I feel like I'm my authentic self. Like when I step in the classroom, it's not that I'm a different person. I'm like a more empowered person. And all of my lessons and all of my experiences I'm sharing, because I'm also very much a humanitarian, right? Like I do this therapy dog work, and it's very almost scary how accurate my results were with the very deep meaning of like who I am and what I do and why I do it.
It's really interesting. Yeah. I've never
Yeah.
done this particular type of
going to
chart or
do it.
anything. So yeah, we'll have to do it and compare and see.
And
I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll
I
learn some
recommend
things.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
we'll learn
It-
some
it-
things.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so I was telling Dani when she first asked me to do it, I was like, now you know more about me than most people.
That's funny.
It's my end game. I just need to know
Yeah, that's
everything
right.
about
She's
everyone.
She's like, oh, just this is a cool thing you should do. I just want to know
Yeah.
about you
Try
before I
it.
deal with you.
Yeah. And,
No,
and now I
it's
know all the
amazing.
That's true.
secrets.
No, I told Colleen, and actually her class too, because my significant other was with me. So I tracked and I went back to like my 3 serious boyfriends, and I ran all their reports.
Oh
And
yeah.
all of them had the
Oh, God.
same type
That's
of
awesome.
my father, right? So I was I was stepping into and revisiting the same exact pattern because it was familiar, whether it was healthy or not. I was just repeating history. And so whenever Brad and I started talking, I immediately was like, I need to run your report. I'm not doing this again. I need to know what you are. And even if you
I love
are
this.
this, I'll be better equipped to understand this dynamic that clearly was failing me in my romantic relationships. But turns out he is not the same. So I broke the cycle,
Okay.
and he's actually a manifestor just like Colleen. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that it's provided a lot of clarity and just at the grace. Grace is a great word for it. Like understanding that everybody is not you, and that's okay. I think a lot of times we place expectations and projections on people, and well, I would have acted differently. Well, of course, because you are different. So duh. It provides like that. Yeah, the weight lifts a lot with the relationships and the tough stuff for sure. But highly recommend you running your reports because
All right, we'll get on it.
Mine too.
yeah,
Next
I don't-
episode.
send them
that's
to
what we're
me.
gonna do. We're gonna read a report.
Yeah, we definitely need those in the show notes.
I don't know if I want to run my ex-boyfriends though. I think that would
Yeah,
be
probably
scary.
not. Well, maybe that might be fun. Like,
I think I could predict a lot of without even running it. Anyway,
running it.
that's a whole other podcast.
Yes.
Colleen, we're kind of running up on time. What other
Yes.
final notes did you want to hit and as we wrap up?
There's only one, and then I've got a final question. But part of your program is actually called, and so we're entrepreneurship professors, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this. You have a program called Entrepreneurial Endeavors, and you work with neurodivergent individuals to help them find their passion and build their business. I wanted to ask you, in your experience, do you think that being neurodivergent provides an advantage or a different perspective when starting a business?
Oh yes, on so many levels. God, this is a very layered and complex thing. I think that neurodivergent individuals should have the opportunity to have pathway being entrepreneurship, because oftentimes they do not traditionally fit inside of a box. So therefore, you got to create their own box. And I think that giving families the tools and the resources to be able to do that is, again, very instrumental. I think it's deserving. However, I think that there are unfortunate things within how our society is designed to where it very much limits and restricts them. So hopefully in time, we'll be able to do this with a sense of accessibility that these individuals deserve. But in terms of opportunity, absolutely. Entrepreneurship is for sure something that neurodivergent individuals, families who have a neurodivergent or differently abled child should consider, because you can go off of their passions, their interests, their skill sets, and be able to create something for them and not force them into something that is just familiar. A lot of people might be happy in a traditional job of bagging groceries or hanging up clothes. That's something that is often offered to special needs individuals, but I think that we're missing the mark in that regard. I think that there's so much more that can be discovered, and in turn, the ability for them to feel like they're contributing to the world in a way that feels true to them. I think that is so important. That's another great gift, that offering them a sense of feeling like they belong and they also contribute to the greater good. Because I think when you think of a neurotypical person or somebody in general population, we want to do what we love, enjoy doing it, and then hopefully help somebody else while doing all those things. Neurodivergent individuals, I'm sure, aspire and want the same things. They just don't have necessarily the freedom and the accessibility right now to do so in the ways that we do. And I would love to take steps in changing that. And I think we are changing that. I think that it's certainly a ripple effect, but we had 7 here. I'll walk you to, hold on. Can you guys see these?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
so Hannah, this summer, so we did Entrepreneur by Design. So everybody had their own, their reports obviously done. They've been with me for years, but Hannah has her fashion line where we would go to thrift stores and she like dressed me. Colleen, fun
Love
fact,
that.
she actually got my shorts for me that I wore to Florida Gulf Coast, like for the speech. Like she dressed
Oh my
me.
gosh.
I'll send you a picture. And I told her that I told her, I'm like, you know what? Like, I really just needed a confidence booster. And the shorts that I wore reminded me of how you were super brave in taking this entrepreneurial endeavor on, because she didn't want to at first. She was very nervous to. And again, utilizing that sense of knowing that they need to feel like they contribute to changes the game. Joey
And
does
then-
affirmation cards. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just
On
going to
the next
say,
thing.
yeah, no, before you go to the next one, a couple of my students actually commented on those shorts and was so impressed that you came in that outfit. Like, this is who I am. I'm going to be authentically me. And like, it was just perfect.
Oh,
So anyway,
that's so sweet. No, that's,
yes.
I mean, hey, I think I wore like a knockoff pair of Converses or something that are painted.
Please come to my class.
Yeah, it's just me. But yeah, so we have, I'm not going to show you all of them, but all of them have like their own thing, and it's based off of what they want to contribute to the world. And this summer was really cool because they were able to unlock that a little bit further. And we've been able to have placements and really play that out for them and help them. And we're not doing it for them. They're doing it for themselves, and we're merely just steering and guiding them. And I think that, I mean, I foresee getting families involved, finding ways, creative solutions in order for them to be just like us and create this sense of accessibility and freedom that if you do not want to work for somebody else, let's find a way for you to do what you love and for that to be supported by your family, by your community, etc.
I love it.
But
Before we wrap up, are there things that you want our audience to follow you on? Are there big projects coming up? Are there ways that our audience can connect with you? What's next?
So great that you asked that. I use the what's next all the time without the E. I think I'm so clever, but really it makes sense. It's usually what people talk about. Well, Instagram is great. Next Generation, so at Next Generation and then _ wellness is our Instagram account. Our website, I'm constantly refining that thing. That's my special interest right now. So it's constantly a work in progress. And then we're laying out the next hub, and that is going to be a monthly membership subscription. So parents, families, caretakers, caregivers, school providers, service providers, therapists, educators, being able to have 2 different things. So we have Learn and Live. Learn is more of like the exploring and getting all of that information and various things so that you can further explore all the things that we do here. And then Live is more of everything with Learn, but you get to be in a position where you're co-creating with us and you're really experiencing the evolution of our pilot programs and our workshops and things that we're trialing out. I kind of see this space as a lab where we're constantly just throwing things at the wall and see what sticks, what doesn't, what works, what doesn't work, and then just joyful refinement year after year. So those would be really great things. I think just the website, Instagram, and checking out the next hub, because that will be evolving over the next few months for sure.
I love that joyful refillment. That
I
is
do
a
too.
great
Refinement.
expression.
Yeah.
Joyful
refinement.
Yeah.
It's
I
in my
love
chart.
that though. Like
It's in my
just such a
chart.
different approach.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. If you would finish this sentence for us, please. This would all make a lot more sense if.
People could make sense of themselves.
Ooh, great answer.
Great answer. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks. Didn't even think about it. I know you said it. I'm like, I'll see what comes out of my mouth. I don't know.
I've told her,
There it
I'm
is.
like, if you guys want to ask that question, you got to give them a heads up. You
Yeah,
gotta let
yeah.
them think about it because that is a
Told
tough
us we
question
had
on
to.
the
We
fly.
were following the rules.
That was a great answer. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Dani, so much for your time.
course.
And we look forward to following you on your journey. And thank you so much for making this all make sense.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you. And no, this is great. Blast. I look forward to seeing your reports, ladies. I need to know if I'm right.
We will let you know. We will definitely send it along. All right.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye.